Hello everyone, welcome. Today we are looking at another LeetCode question, which is arithmetic slices. This question is being asked in week 3 of February 2021. And what this question says is that we are given a sequence of numbers and it's called arithmetic if it consists of at least 3 elements and if the difference between any two consecutive elements is the same. So we need to find out the number of, you can say, sub arrays, if I talk about it, which will be minimum length of 3, at least 3, but the difference of the elements in that particular array will always be the same. So if I look at example, right, if I look at 1 3 5 7 9, right, so that's an arithmetic sequence because the difference between each and every element is 2, right? But if I look at the example, right, say let's talk about the example. This example, if you see, the return output is 3 because if I'm looking at 1 2 3 4 with minimum number of 3 elements which I can find out is 1 2 3 2 3 4 and 1 2 3 4, right? Those are three sequences which we can find with the minimum length being 3 and the difference between each and every element in that subarray being the same. And we need to just ensure that the difference we are talking about is the between the consecutive numbers. Now if you look at this question, right, this is a dynamic programming question in a way, wherein what we need to do is we need to kind of keep a tab of uh, what is the difference between, keep a tab of, okay, if you're looking at any subarray, then if I go to the next index, then what will be the value of it, if that is following this difference equation or not. If it is following, then add it to the server, add it to the dynamic array. What I just said, right, let me bring a pictorial view of it, right? So say I have this subarray, right? So I have this subarray. So this is 1 2 3 4, right? So what I'll say is I'll create a DP array. So that is my dynamic programming array. Now it will be of the same length of this one. So what I'll say is, so assume that to be 0 0 for the status because minimum what we are looking at 3. So the moment I'm at this index, I'm at this index, right? I'll say, okay, what is the difference between these two? That is 1. And what is the difference between these two? That is also 1. So this is one subarray. So I'll just say 1. Okay. Now I'll go to this one. I'll move this index ahead. I'll be at this index. I'll say what is the difference between these two? That is 1. What is the difference between these two? That is also 1. So this alone is again my subarray. So that will be 1. But the moment before populating it, right, I'll say what is my previous index, right? I'll append on top of it. So that will be 1 plus 1. So this became 2. So my DP array here will contain 0, 0, 1 and 2. And my total number of combinations will be the sum of all the values which will be there in this VP array, that will be equal to 3, right? So let me take another example. So say I have this time a bigger array, right? So say I had 1 2 3, then say I have 4, then say I have 6, then say 8, then say 10, then say 12, right? So now again I'll go with the DP array, that will be 0 0. So here it will be 0, here it will be 0. If I come here, right, then it will be 3 minus 2 is 1 and 2 minus 1 is 1. So both the difference are matching, so I'll say 1, right? Now I'll go to the next one. I'll say, okay, 4 minus 3 is 1, 3 minus 2 is again 1. So this is again one sub array which can be found out of minimum 3. I'll say 1 and whatever my value of previous one will be, that will be 1, so I'll make it 2. Now I come to this one. So 6 minus 4 is 2, but 4 minus 3 is 1. So this is not a subarray. This will become 0. Now I'll come to this one. So 8 minus 6 is 2. 6 minus 4 is 2. So both are same. So that will become 1. Now I'll come to this one. 10 minus 2 is 2. 8 minus 6 is again 2. Then this is again 1. So this will become 2. Because it will be 1, this one, plus whatever is my previous one. 12 minus 10 is again 2, 10 minus 8 is again 2, that will become, then this is again a subarray, then it will become 2 plus 1, that will become 3. So total subarrays which can be found out of this one will be 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3, that will be 3 plus 3 plus 3, that will be equal to 9. That is the output which you are looking for, right? I hope you would have understood, and that would have simplified the problem a lot more, because now all we need to do is we need to just keep a type of last three values at a given index, right? And whatever I'm going to get it, I'll just keep on summing it up, right? With this, let's go ahead and start coding. I'll create a dynamic array, which will be my DP array. It will contain the length, which will be a dot length, and what I'll have is what my sum, or okay, this slices sum, right? That will be equal to 0. Now what I'll say is, or rather make it int I is equal, so for int I is equal to 2, I less than, because I'll anyways work with your 0 and 1, right? So I less than a dot length I plus plus. Now what I'll say is, if my a I minus, let me make it in single quotes, if I minus 1 minus a I minus 2, right? So if you see, what I'm saying is, if I'm at this index, a I minus 1 will be your this one. This minus this, right, is equal to a I minus a I minus 1. So what I just did is, again, as I said, right? So if I have 1, 2, 3, and 4, I'm at this index. So this is 0, 1, 2, right? So I'm saying a of 2 minus a of 1 should be equal to a of 1 minus a of 0. So in this case, a of 2 is 3, 3 minus 2, that will be 3 minus 2 should be equal to 2 minus 1, right? That is true. If that turns out to be true, I'll say my DPI, whatever my array will be, that will be equal to 1 plus DPI minus 1. Because if you remember, that's what we are doing, right? We were always doing summation of 1 with my previous index, right? And I need to also do a kind of sum of whatever I'm having in this dynamic array, right? So I'll do slices sum is equal to plus equal to dp of I, right? This is it. I think this all we need to do is return slices sum. This is it, guys. This should do the trick with whatever I explained in the example. So let's run it and see what is happening. I got expected results. Let's submit it. It got accepted. So if I talk about the complexity, right? If you see, we are running the array once, and we are using an array also. So that will be like O of n of time complexity and O of n of space complexity, right? Now it may be asked that how I can improvise upon this one. So if you see, right, DPI is nothing but storing the value of my current index, right? Storing the value of my current sum, in a way, what would be the value at that particular index. So let me make it say, let me create a that change it to DP, right? If it has to just store a value, right? Why not just it can do like this, DPI 1 plus DP, right? Right? With me so far? So if I have this now, all I have to do is, if this condition is not matching, I'll say DP is equal to 0. Right? If this is not true, I'll make it 0. Because if you remember that index, right? For a given array index, if it was not matching, I was setting that to be a 0 value, right? So in this case also, I'll say, okay, if I have it not matching this condition, I'll make it 0. Otherwise, I'll just keep on adding DP, right? So let's run it and see what is happening now. Let's run it. I got an error, dp unassigned, that should be equal to 0 because we are doing a sum on top of it. Let's run it now. Again, I got the expected results. Let's submit it. it got accepted. So if you see, right, what we just now did is we removed the space complexity of O of n to O of 1, right? That's how we kind of improvised upon this solution. So there's another approach wherein you can use arithmetic formulas, but I'll kind of leave it at that, because if you're able to solve this much, I think that is what as an interviewer someone will look for, and you kind of improvised upon the existing solution as well. If you know about the arithmetic approach or not, that really doesn't matter until unless you are able to kind of solve this much. I think this should suffice, right? So with this, I'll take your leave. In case you have any questions, any doubts, please do reach out in the comment sections. In case you like the explanations, please do click on the like button. And if you're new to the channel, please do click on subscribe button. Thank you. Thanks a lot.